What's up, guys? Priceless Parlays back with another best bets and parlay segment going over UFC Gilbert Burns versus Morales at the Apex. My camera's probably going to die pretty soon, so we're going to try to knock this out quick. We're going to be going over who's going to win, how I think they're going to win, which is going to be completely irrelevant to the bets and what we're betting on because who I think is going to win is not who I'm probably going to be betting on because there will be no value there. So we'll do who we think is going to win, how we think they're going to win. We'll go over the safest bet on that fight. We will go over the most valuable bet on that fight. And we will go over my favorite long shot bet on that fight. At the end, we'll go over what I'm straight betting, my strategy for this fight. We'll go over the parlays, the cycle parlays, the long shot cycle, the full card parlay. I'm not sure that we'll do the $100 to win $100,000. It seems like we're just throwing money away at this point. But I'll tell you what that bet will be if we decide to put it in. What else? Yeah, so that's pretty much it. We'll get right into it. First fight of the night, Tisha Pennington versus Luana Pinheiro. If you put a gun to my head and told me I had to pick somebody, I'm going to pick Tisha Pennington by decision. That's what I think is going to happen, although I think it's only like 55%. I think Pinheiro's got 45% chance of winning a decision here. I don't think there's any chance that this fight doesn't go to decision. So my official pick is Tisha Pennington. My official method is decision. But my most confident pick, and I know it's a minus 480, and I don't like to do anything over minus 400 with my confident picks, but there's just nothing to be confident about in this fight. So I had no choice but to take over 2.5, minus 480. That's the confident pick. Value, Pinheiro, money line. It's a plus 280. So, yeah, I think it's close enough that it could be a split decision going either way. Let's take Pinheiro on the money line. Put it in a couple parlays, too. That's our value bet in that fight. And then Pinheiro by decision is the plus money bet. I mean, if she wins, that's how it's going to be. So it's like the only reason why we're even taking her in the money line is in case Tisha rolls her ankle or something like that happens, or the doctor stops it for some stupid reason, because I don't see this fight not going to decision. I almost want to say over 2.5 is like free money, but that's not a thing. You never know what's going to happen. Somebody could start just puking or something in there, and they call the fight. So Pinheiro decision, that's the long shot, plus 550. We're probably going to be straight betting that somewhere down the line. But, yep, Pinheiro, money line, valuable bet, and Pinheiro decision, long shot. And then we move on to Hyun-Sung Park versus Carlos Hernandez. I initially thought over 2.5. That's not the case anymore. My official pick is Park to win. I think it's probably going to be kind of 50-50 on all. So 33, 33, 33. But, we're going to go knockout because he's been cracking dudes lately. So Park by knockout. Now, how are we going to bet it? Confident bet. Park, money line. How do I think he gets it done? Knockout, submission, decision in that order. But it's a minus 184. I don't see him losing. I guess he could. I mean, obviously he could. But, yeah. Park, money line, confident. Park by knockout or submission. So Park inside the distance, that is the valuable bet. It's a plus 220 for him to get a finish in this fight. I like his chances there at plus 220. So that's my valuable bet. And then Park by knockout in rounds 2 or 3 is a plus 950. That's my favorite long shot in this fight. We'll straight bet that at some point. And then we'll move on to, I don't know if her name is Elise or, yeah, probably Elise Reed. She's fighting Denise Gomez. She's going to get beat up pretty bad. Denise Gomez is like a minus 800 in some places, minus 700 the last place I looked. She's a minus 575 on the UFC's website. I think she's more of a minus 700, but, so we won't be betting her to win. She's our official pick to win. Our official pick is for her to win by knockout. I think she's got a good chance of finishing this chick. She was knocking girls out back to back, and then she started going on a little decision spree. So we're rolling the dice here. And, you can only, roll snake eyes so many times in a row before something changes. And she's been knocking girls out. Now she's winning straight decision. It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time before she cracks somebody. And we're gonna think that that's gonna be this Saturday. So yeah, Gomez is my pick. Knockout is my method. But the confident bet is Gomez, double chance, knockout or decision at minus 280. That's one way to get a little bit of value off of her. Still not a lot, but, I'm pretty sure that those are the two most likely outcomes of this fight, minus 280. Under 2.5 is plus money, so that's going to be our valuable bet here. I do think it's closer to a 50-50, 55 45, something along those lines on whether or not it goes over or under 2.5 rounds. Basically, whether or not Denise Gomez wins by decision or knockout. So I think that there's a little bit of value there at under 2.5. That's my valuable bet, plus 152. And then Gomez by knockout is a plus 340. So that's our long shot. Our long shot is also our official pick. So, it's got... that tells you anything. I'll be straight betting that. And then we can move on to, where is it at? Luana Santos versus Tainara Lisboa. One of the harder fights for me to call. It's probably going to go to decision. I'm going to take Lisboa by decision. She's an underdog, plus 140. She's been champion other division. Luana Santos, man, it's going to be a split decision. That's what I think. It's going to be a split decision. We're going to lean towards the underdog. Over 2.5 is a minus 300. That's the confident bet. Over 2.5, confident. Lisboa money line, being that she's a plus 140, she's a plus 134 on FanDuel. That's going to be our valuable bet. When you got a fight that's 50-50, you got to take the underdog, right? So that's the valuable pick. And then for her to win a decision is a plus 260. That's going to be our long shot, is Lisboa by decision. And then we'll move on to Yadir Del Val. God, we know I messed that one up. And Connor Matthews. So, I don't know if you guys saw Del Val on the Contender Series. He's an animal. I'm surprised he doesn't have more finishes. Half of his fights have gone to decision. Connor Matthews, more of a submission guy. So, yeah, what do I think is going to happen? I think it might go to decision. I would take Yadir Del Val to win, and probably by decision. Yeah, I don't think he's going to get submitted, and he might knock this guy out, but, it's hard to say. Now, Del Val money line is a minus 475. So, I don't want to have that in here, but the problem is that DraftKings, FanDuel, nobody's got the odds posted for me to do any kind of double chance or anything. So it's kind of my only option here for my safe bet is to take his money line. I would be taking him by knockout or decision. That'll be, the odds for that haven't dropped yet, but that's my safe pick is Del Val knockout or decision. So we don't have to do the money line. When I do my full card parlay, we're going to have to do the money line just because we don't have the odds for anything else. I did get to take a look at the odds on Hard Rock for him to win by decision, which is like plus 125. So I guess that would be more of a valuable bet there. And then for him to win by knockout, whatever that's going to be, that'll be my long shot bet. But I won't be able to give you guys the odds for that because they have not released. All right. Jared Gordon versus Thiago Moises. I mean, you remember when Moises put up a good fight against Islam Makhachev back in the day? Well, that was back in the day. And nowadays we got Jared Gordon doing 10 times as good as Michael Chandler did against Paddy Pimblett. I mean, Jared Gordon won that fight. That fight with that dude that looks like Kelvin Gastelum, who I can't pronounce his name, Nasrat. I can't pronounce his last name. I thought Gordon won that fight. And then he's been losing some decisions that he should have probably won. I think this is going to be a close fight. I'm sure Moises is going to win a round, but I think Gordon hopefully doesn't get screwed here. I think Gordon wins a decision here. That's what I think. And the odds are dead even. Everybody I'm seeing online is picking Thiago Moises. I'm picking Jared Gordon. My confident pick here is for the fight to go over 2.5 rounds. It's a minus 320. Not a lot of value there, but, I just see this fight going to decision. So, it is what it is. Jared Gordon, money line, is the valuable pick at minus 112. And Gordon by decision is the plus money bet, the underdog bet, plus 135. It's not even a huge underdog bet, but if I had to put, like I said earlier, if I had to put the house on it, it would be Gordon by decision. But realistically, it could go either way there. It's a tough one to call. One of the hardest fights on this card to call. That is the hardest fight that's between two men. That's the toughest one. Now, Gabe Green versus Mateus Camilo. So, I was doing as much research as I could on Camilo. And he's a minus 250 favorite, right? But here's the thing. Gabe Green's got these 5 losses, and Camilo's got 2. And everybody's like, oh, yeah, Gabe Green, he's going to lose this fight, right? Did you see the 5 people he lost to? I mean, there's one dude who I'd never heard of, but he lost to Brian Battle. He lost to Jalen Turner back in the day. I mean, the people that he lost to Ian Gary. And not to mention, he did not get finished when he fought Ian Gary. He lost a decision there. And he lost to D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez. And we saw how good D-Rod looked recently. So the guys fought like way harsher competition. So I'm not counting Green out. I am leaning towards Camilo. Leaning towards him to win a decision. I don't think he's going to go out there and finish this guy. I mean, Ian Gary couldn't do it. I know Brian Battle did it in like 2 seconds, but I'm not saying it's a fluke. I think Brian Battle would beat him again. I'm just saying, ooh, this fight's at lightweight. We're still going to go Camilo. Yeah, we're going to go Camilo. This guy does have Gabe Green does have 6 submissions. They're all by rear naked choke, which means he might not be that great at jiu-jitsu. He might just have a mean RNC. But we'll do Camilo by decision as my official pick. But once we get into what we're betting on, we'll do Camilo money line as the confident pick. And you can see after seeing this fight's at lightweight, it makes a big difference. I'm not as confident as I once was, and I think it's definitely a fight to stay away from because a minus 250 is expensive with Gabe Green's level of competition. I don't think Camilo should be a minus 250. I do think he'll win. Don't think it's too close for me to bet on. But I do think that the double chance Camillo by knockout or decision minus 165 is a little bit more affordable. A little bit. That's the more valuable pick. It is definitely more valuable. Still not very valuable at all. Which is why we've got the underdog pick. Which is what? My boy Gabe Green by rear naked choke. Or just submission. That's a plus 850. If he's already submitted 6 people on his way to the UFC, might as well dabble with him to win by submission here as the long shot pick. Not going to bet a lot on that. 0.2 units. If that. Are we even doing that? We might not even do that, but that's the long shot pick in case I decide to do that. All right, we'll move on to Melk Costa versus Julian Erosa. So Melk Costa had that really close fight with Christian Rodriguez recently, where he won. I think it was actually a unanimous decision. It might have been split. I'm going to find out right now. And then we got Julian Erosa, who, did he look that great in his last fight, or did Darren Elkins just look that bad? Well, I think that Darren Elkins looked that bad. So, therefore, I'll be taking Melk Costa. Melk Costa by what? Knockout. Yep. Melk Costa by knockout. Julian Erosa is getting a little bit old. Melk's got 7 knockout wins, 6 submission wins. We'll get to that here in a minute. I don't want to jump to it. Melk money line. That's my confident pick. Melk by knockout. It was unanimous decision, by the way. Melk by knockout. That's my most valuable pick at plus 210. But Melk by submission. It sounds like I'm not giving Erosa any chance here, and I'm not. Melk by submission. Everybody, people don't realize these things. They see, they know how good Julian Erosa is at jiu-jitsu, so they think he can't get submitted. A lot of times these flashy guys especially the longer, lanky guys. What was that guy's name? Dustin Hazlett back in the day. Charles Oliveira early on in his career. I could see Chase Hooper having this issue. A lot of these long, lanky jiu-jitsu guys will get in a scramble with one of these really technical guys like Sandhagen and Figueiredo. That's why I was like, man, I kind of thought Figueiredo might be able to sneak in a little submission there. I was way off, but I'm just saying don't sleep on Melk Costa's technical jiu-jitsu. Julian Erosa is got really good jiu-jitsu. It's really technical. It's really fun to watch. But sometimes that not fun to watch, hey, look, I just want to take your back and choke you out, and that's what I'm training in the gym every day, not this going inverted and pulling rubber guard and all that crap. I could see Melk Costa getting it done by submission at plus 700. Those odds are only plus 700 because Vegas doesn't do jiu-jitsu. So, yeah, that's the long shot pick, Melk by submission. All right. Dustin Stoltzfus versus Nursultan Huzaboev. The most money I've ever lost gambling. It was either when Izzy fought Dricus or it was when Huzaboev fought Joaquin Buckley. And it was kind of my boy's fault because he called me and he was like, yo, do you know who Huzaboev is? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, bet the house on him. He's fighting Joaquin Buckley. And I'm like, okay, yeah. I'm sure he's going to win, but you know what? You right. Now, this is just all bet first round knockout. And he got whooped. I was very surprised. But here we are at Huzaboev being a minus 310. I'm taking him to win. I'm taking him to win by knockout. But instead of my confident pick being Huzaboev moneyline, it's actually going to be Huzaboev by knockout or submission, which is stupid. I could just take him by moneyline, so if he wins a decision, I still win. But, sometimes it's not all about just picking the minus 300 and minus 400 so that you guys see me get 10 out of 12 right and think I'm a genius. Sometimes you got to you got to take a couple chances. And we're doing that today with Huziboev by knockout or submission, 185, minus 185. That's my confident pick, and I'm straight betting it. But the valuable pick is Huziboev in round 1, plus 170. I don't think Stoltzfus gets out of round 1. But my long shot is Huziboev by submission in round 1. He's been knocking dudes out so much that they forget how good he is at jiu-jitsu. And I could see him getting a Kimura here, which I know that's a crazy thing to say when Stoltzfus is so jacked. Usually Kimura is a strong man submission, like the stronger guy. But I see Huziboev knocking him out in round 1, but we will touch a little bit on submission round 1 because it is a plus 1,300. All right, and then we're going to move on to Sadiq Youssef versus Myron Santos. And this is a very hard fight to pick because if Myron Santos from The Ultimate Fighter shows up, then he's going to win. But if Myron Santos from his last fight shows up, where I bet quite a bit of money on him, and I was driving my vehicle through Miami, Florida with all my boys in the back. We were going fishing, and they were watching the fight, and I'm like, yeah, I bet it all on Santos. And they're like, well, he's getting worked. I was like, no. And they were like, yeah, your boy's getting dogged. And then whenever they called the decision, I could hear it in the back, and they said Santos. And I was like, man, you guys don't know what you're talking about. And then I heard everybody saying it was an atrocious decision. I went back and watched. And when I went back and watched, I was trying to be like, okay, let me watch this fight. Instead of just watching it for the first time, let me go ahead and try to find out how Myron Santos could be the winner of this fight. I was already looking for a way to put that together. And, I don't think he won that fight. I think it was a little bit closer than everybody was saying, but no, I think he lost. And I think that Myron Santos from before the big lights would knock Sadiq Youssef out. I'm actually going to pick Santos by knockout. The reason why is because it's in the Apex. It's going to give him those same feels. He's not going to have the big audience. Maybe he can perform like he did before the big lights. So Myron Santos by knockout. My confident pick is Santos money line. My valuable pick is for the fight to go under 2.5 rounds at plus 190. And the long shot pick is Myron Santos by knockout at plus 390. And then we will head on to Rodolfo Bellato versus Paul Craig. I have been leaning towards Rodolfo Bellato all week. Obviously, he's a minus 520. Been thinking Bellato in round 1. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. I'm still doing all those things. My official pick is Bellato to win, and it's by knockout. My confident pick is Bellato by knockout at minus 160. Here's why I'm going to take over 1.5 at plus 114. And when I do my parlays later, I might throw some under 1.5s in there. I'm just saying over 1.5 has a little bit of value because Paul Craig knows that he is fighting for his job most likely. And so he's going to perform probably better than he has recently. He's moving back up to 205. So he had such a bad run at 185, and he had a pretty decent run at 205. So now we're back at 205, fighting lower competition. To be honest, Rodolfo Bellato's good, but look at who Paul Craig's fought with: Jamal Hill, Ankalaev, Brendan Allen, Kyle Brawlhalla. I think Paul Craig loses, but I think that he will do everything he can to survive and go over 1.5 rounds. So with that being plus money at 1.5 rounds, plus 114, that's going to be the valuable bet. And we're just going to put Paul Craig money line at plus 400 as the underdog pick. I know. But you know what? At least it'll give me something to cheer for if it goes over 1.5 rounds. I'll be freaking out for my man Scotland. But he's probably going to lose by knockout. His money line's plus 400, so that's the long shot. I won't be straight betting it. I have no confidence in it at all. But, okay, we will move on to the main event. Gilbert Burns versus Michael Morales. And let me tell you how disrespectful these odds are. Incredibly disrespectful. I mean, Gilbert Burns by submission. Gilbert Burns by submission. I don't care if Michael Morales has never lost. Gilbert Burns by decision or submission. It's a 5-round fight. I think he'll catch him in an arm triangle in rounds 4 or 5, maybe 3. Why is my confident pick under 3.5 rounds? You know what? I think Gilbert Burns will it's because he could get knocked out. He could get knocked out by Michael Morales. Michael Morales is a big favorite. I think if Morales knocks him out, it's going to be in rounds 1, 2, or 3. So we'll take the under 3.5 on the confident pick. And I think if Gilbert Burns submits him, it'll be in 4 and 5, or 3, or 1 or 2, because he could, especially when they're both dry, he could submit him in round 1. And Gilbert Burns could always knock him out, too. So, yeah, I think under 3.5, it's my most confident bet in this fight, but I'm not confident in that at all. It could go over. So, but you want to know my most confident pick? I guess my most confident pick could be Mike. It wouldn't be Michael Morales, even though he's a minus 850. I'm more confident that this fight goes under 3.5 rounds at minus 136 than I am Michael Morales to win at minus 850. And a lot of people will think that that's stupid, but that's because people are forgetting who Gilbert Burns is. Oh, he's coming off of 3 straight losses to Bilal Muhammad, Sean Brady, and Jack Della Maddalena. Do you know their rankings? One of them is number 2, one of them is number 1, and the other one is the champ. So, Burns, money line at plus 540. He's a plus 575 right here. It just keeps going up. I locked him in at plus 540. That's my most valuable bet. And my long shot is Gilbert Burns by knockout or submission, plus 950. That's what I'm locking in on my long shot. Real quick, my betting strategy this week is going to be, I'm going to bet 15 units. I'm going to be doing 7 of them on straight bets. Don't want to get into it too much, but just know that I'll be putting 1.2 units on Huzaboev inside the distance. I'll be putting 0.6 units on Huzaboev in round 1, 0.2 on Huzaboev submission round 1, 0.6 on Myron Santos by knockout, 0.8 on Gilbert Burns money line, 0.4 on Gilbert Burns inside the distance, 0.8 on Park by knockout, 0.4 on Park by knockout in rounds 2 or 3, putting 0.6 on Pinheiro decision, 1 unit on Melk money line. I did that? I did do Paul Craig by knockout, 0.2 units. It's 0.2 units. You never know. It's like a plus 2,500. And then Gilbert Burns by submission at 0.2 units. For the full fight card, it's going to just be all of the confident bets. My most confident bet from each fight will go into a 12-leg parlay that I'll be putting 0.2 units on. And I'll post that up here. The cycle bets, not very confident in this one, but I'm going to do Bellato by knockout, Huzaboev by submission, and Lisboa by decision. And I'm going to put 0.6 units on that one. And then I'll do Myron Santos by knockout, Melk by decision, and Park by submission. And I'll be putting 0.6 units there as well. Those both pay out crazy. And then the long shot cycle parlay that I'll put 0.4 units on is never going to happen, but Pinheiro by decision, Gomez by knockout, and Gilbert Burns by submission. Payout there is crazy. And as far as the ladder sequence, I'll probably just post that on TikTok whenever I come up with an exact And I'll post it on Instagram too, because the ladder sequence brought back, what was it, like 11 units, I think, last week. So see if we can do it again this week. I do know that most likely we'll either be doing it with Camillo, Milk, and Huzaboev, but there is a chance that we swap Milk out for Park. No, not Milk. We're keeping Milk in there no matter. We might swap out Camillo for Park. I don't know yet, but I'll post that on TikTok, and that's going to be 3 units broke down there. And if you aren't familiar with the ladder sequence that I use, I put 1.6 units on 3 people that I think are going to win, and then I put half of that, 0.8 units, on them to win, or maybe over 2.5, or them to win by decision, or so-and-so to win by knockout. Just kind of increase the odds, or decrease the odds and decrease my bet, but the payout goes up. And so I'll do 1.6 units, and I'll do 0.8 units, and I'll do 0.4 units, and then I will do 0.2 units and get more and more specific. And I make it so that there's always a chance that all 4 of them can hit, but as long as the first one hits, it will cover the other 3. So if the other 3 lose, you still break even because the profit from the first one covers it. So you got to be really confident about those 3 guys that you are betting on initially. As far as the $100 to win $100,000, if we put it in, it's going to be Hyun-Sung Park inside the distance, Myron Santos by knockout, Lisboa money line, Huzaboev to win in round 1, and Gilbert Burns inside the distance. $100 pays $104,000. Probably not going to do it unless any of the boys at work want to donate to the big parlay fund. But yeah, so look, last week we doubled our money. We ran, what was it, 18 units and turned it into 36.5. So much less confident in this fight, but follow what I'm doing, and I'll keep posting and keeping you up to date with whether or not we are winning or losing. I told you guys all my straight bets. I told you guys my cycle parlays. The cycle parlays, that's 1.2 unit. The straight bets are 7 units. The full card is 0.2. The long shot cycle is 0.4. $3 units on the ladder sequence. And then I'm going to do, that leaves me with 3.8. If I do 15 units, that leaves me with 3.8 units to break up into parlays. All of my parlays will be involving the fights that I just broke down for you, the picks that I broke down. I'm probably going to post them all in this video when I edit it, just so that everybody knows that, these are my real picks, and I can't go and show you guys some winnings that I got from some parlay that I never told you guys I was going to put in. I just want to keep it completely transparent. So yeah, I'll probably post every single bet that I'm putting in somewhere in this video, so we can keep track of whether or not I'm making any money. But yeah, we got to what? This fight card starts a little bit early, so if anything changes at weigh-ins or anything, I'll go down in the comments here and be like, abort mission. If you're trying to jump on the odds, if you're trying to follow any of this information to make your own picks, and you want to jump on the odds before they shift, go ahead. But just know that I do sometimes, if something gets affected due to weigh-ins or something, I will come back to the comments and be like, abort mission. I'm no longer betting on this person. So that's always a possibility. All right, guys. Check back in on, Sunday? Sunday, I'll give you a recap and let you know, did we win? Did we lose? And make sure you are not gambling if you cannot afford to lose. And I will see you guys next time.